Hey, what's up? It's King Shatik here. Welcome to my Voice of the Kingdom channel. For those of you who've never been on the channel before, this is a channel about spreading love, about spreading enlightenment, about spreading a message, about spreading righteousness, about spreading power, success in business, and success in life. This channel is about empowering you to reach your greater self. That's what the Voice of the Kingdom is all about. Right now I'm out here actually like by a creek right now. You know, I like to do these videos in nature, so that's why I'm doing this video right here today. And it's beautiful out today. It's about, you can see these flies and butterflies and stuff flying around, you know, the trees. It's real beautiful out today. But yeah, real quick story, right? Some of you probably know that I have a business background. You know, I came up as an entrepreneur. I've always been interested in entrepreneurship from a very young age, from when I was probably 16 years old. So it's not really surprising to me that that's exactly the path that I'm on today. And for those of you who may be in entrepreneurship journey, or those of you who have wanted to become an entrepreneur before, and you've worked at something, at some type of business, you know that in entrepreneurship, you gotta have some type of spiritual growth, right? You have to experience some type of spiritual growth in order to say, you know what? I'm not gonna rely on a 9-to-5 job. I'm not gonna rely on a boss. I'm not gonna rely on what society says my worth is. And I'm still gonna find a way to make ends meet. I'm still gonna find a way to pay the bills. I'm still gonna find a way to live a happy and joyous life, right? That takes, you know, that takes guts, number one, and it takes some type of spiritual growth to follow on that path and stay consistent on that path, you know. But to me, it's like the most important thing, one of the most important things to me is freedom before even money. You know what I'm saying? Is freedom before money, because if you have the freedom, if we have more freedom, we can focus on more things that I feel do matter in the world, like our health, like our mental health, our fitness, you know, our dreams, you know, things that we want to do from the heart, things that we're passionate about. And that's not to say that your 9-to-5 job, you're not passionate at your job. You know, you could be at a 9-to-5 job right now, that's your purpose, right? And I still would recommend finding a way to be able to do that practice, or whatever the job that is that you work for, the company that you work for. I still recommend to do that on the side, you know, for yourself, you know, just to make some extra income as your own boss. You get what I'm saying? So that's really how this channel came about, right? I said, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, but I also like speaking about spiritual things. I also like scriptures and the Bible. I also like, you know, I love just thinking on a deeper level, right? Past just the surface level that everybody else is so focused on. I like to think about things past the surface, more on a spiritual level, right? And, you know, I've always had friends growing up. Whenever I talk to them, they would tell me about their dreams, and they would tell me about their aspirations. You know, friends would tell me about what they want to accomplish, and I would always motivate them. I would always encourage them and give them a word or two about why I believe in them and why I know that they can achieve their goals and their vision. And people, you know, literally, I can't even count on my hands anymore how many people have told me, you know, Shatik, like, you know, you should launch some type of YouTube channel, or, you know, you're great at motivating people. You're so good at making people believe in themselves. You're so great at making people feel encouraged, and, you know, just making people feel like they can do it. And because I've been hearing that over and over and over again from people, I say, you know what? I want to launch a channel, a YouTube channel that impacts people in a positive way, because what we're going to do here is we're going to dig down deep within ourselves with this channel, and we're going to come together as a community and help people become more enlightened around the world, you know. And that, and in order to create a better world, in order to create a better future for the children, you know, the first step is we got to get the minds and the hearts right of the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get the hearts and the minds right of the people, because if the minds and the hearts of the people isn't right, then nothing else is going to change, nothing else is going to be right. So that's what made me say, you know what, let me launch Voice of the Kingdom, so we can talk about things on not only on a surface level, but also on a spiritual level, which is where I believe all change is manifested. I believe all change is manifested on the spiritual level. all change is manifested on the spiritual level, which means there's always something deeper that you got to dig from within yourself to pull greatness out of yourself, you know, to pull that power within yourself that you've always had, but you probably don't know how to unlock it, right? So the voice of the kingdom, we're here to help you to unlock that power within you. We're here to help you to unlock your voice, your message, you know, your talents, your gifts. That's what the whole voice of the kingdom is about. So I think that's a perfect segue into the topic of what I'm going to be discussing, right? What we're going to be discussing today is we're going to talk about the tree of life, right? The tree of life, or the tree of knowledge, or, you know, you could also call it the tree of good and evil that was in the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve, basically, God had them live in the Garden of Eden, and, you know, he had the tree of life there, or the tree of good and evil there, right, in the Garden of Eden. And what did God tell them? God said, no matter what you do, whatever you do in this garden, don't eat the forbidden fruit from this tree, from the tree of life, right? And a lot of you, of course, you know the story, if you're Christians, or if you read the Bible, and, you know, this is one of the more common stories. This isn't like one of the stories in the Bible that's, you know, complex. This is one of the more common stories that's more popular that a lot of people know. So most likely you know about this story, right? So in the Garden of Eden, which it kind of almost looks like, it doesn't look like the Garden of Eden here, but you get the point, right? We're in some type of garden of if you will, right, of some sort. So why is the Garden of Eden and the tree of life so significant? And why is that going to be so important for us to discuss in this video? Well, it's so significant, I think, because of multiple reasons. It's not just one reason. Like, I have, like, a couple different interpretations of the tree of life and the Garden of Eden, and why, you know, everything happened. Not exactly why everything happened, because I don't think that God makes mistakes. I don't think God ever makes mistakes. I think everything that's been done ever since biblical time has been done and prophesied for a reason, right? So it's kind of like you're watching things unfold almost like a movie, but it's been prophesied, so certain things have to come to pass. So I don't think God makes mistakes. You know, I just think he does things and causes things for a reason. So God tells Eve what? What does God tell Eve? And Adam tells them, don't eat the forbidden fruit from this tree. So here they are. They have, now remind you, Adam and Eve are rich at this point. They have, basically, they own the whole damn world, if you want to think about it, if you really think about it. You know, they own the garden, they own the plants, they own the animals, because God gave them full dominion over the land, right? So they owned everything. They were rich already. They had everything. They were directly, you know, created by God, which, of course, we're all created by God, but you know what I mean? Like, they're like the biblical figures that we always go back to say, all right, they started the human race. Adam and Eve started the human race. So why would, if you have all the riches in the world, you have everything you need, God gave you everything you need, except God says, just don't eat this one forbidden fruit on this specific tree. And then what happens, right? What happens is Adam and Eve goes to the tree, and then there's a serpent that comes to her and basically persuades her to eat the forbidden fruit from the tree. And then that also gets her to get Adam involved into eating the forbidden fruit. And then now we have darkness in humanity. We have evil. Now the purity that was meant for the people, Adam and Eve, when they were created by God, they're no longer pure anymore. So there's some darkness now because they didn't listen. They didn't listen when God told them, don't eat this fruit. You can eat anything else. You can touch anything else. Now, that story is very significant to me for many reasons, right? The first reason why that story is so significant to me is because it's like, isn't that how we can be as people sometimes? You know, just thinking about people and human nature. Sometimes we already have the gold within us. Sometimes we already have the riches within us. Sometimes we already have the power. It's already within us. It's already here. We already have the finances we want. It's already here. It's already in our talents, in our gifts, on the inside of us, right? So why are we constantly looking outside of ourselves for the answer? Why are we constantly looking outside of ourselves for the secret in life and to figure it out and to get clarity? We always look outside of ourselves. So that's one interpretation that I have that I think is very powerful of that story, is that God literally gave them everything they need, but they still was looking for some type of power outside of themselves or outside of what they were supposed to look at. You get what I'm saying? So here we are, God giving us the tree of life, the Garden of Eden. We're rich, but yet we still let some type of serpent, we let the enemy persuade us that we're not good enough. And in that process, the enemy also persuades us that our God, the Father, is not good enough. You get what I'm saying? So how many situations in life do you see like that, where it's like, have you ever been like really, really, you know, maybe stressed out or depressed in a situation because you're looking for something that you didn't know you had all along? Or you're second guessing yourself when you were the number one person, you were the number one man or the number one girl all along, or number one woman all along, right? But and you're searching for greatness outside of yourself, when literally from the Garden of Eden, from that story where Adam and Eve ate the apple, we can learn that greatness is already within us. We don't have to look outside of ourselves. We don't have to listen to the persuasion of the enemy, because that's only going to lead us down the wrong path. That's only going to lead us to getting sidetracked from our vision and from our purpose, right? And here at the Voice of the Kingdom, it's not about being sidetracked from our vision and our purpose. It's about becoming enlightened and becoming wiser, so that we can be more powerful on our journey to accomplishing our purpose. So, you know, that's the crazy part about the tree of life, right? The tree of life is so significant for many, many reasons. And then they say that's the reason why, you know, we die as human beings. But I really believe that we're actually immortal, right? Because I think spiritually we can't die. And the consciousness, I don't think, can ever die, right? So I think even when the flesh passes on, our consciousness, if you will, or our spirit, I believe, lives on, right? And you can see that also if you look at characters in the Bible, and then, for example, Jesus's resurrection and stuff like that. That's an example of maybe that's possible. Maybe that's going on in some type of realm that we may not be seeing yet, right? So think about it. Jesus died, and then he was resurrected, you know, and then when they went back to the tomb, they didn't see his body anymore. So, you know, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but yeah, we're going to go back to the Garden of Eden. So my question to you is, how is that story, how can you relate that to your life? How can you relate that to your business to empower you moving forward? That's what I want you to think about right now. Ask yourself, how can the Garden of Eden story, well, you know, the tree of life story, how can that story with Adam and Eve eating the forbidden fruit, right, and disobeying God, because that's what they did. When they disobeyed God, the results were bad, right? So how can we learn from that? I think we can learn many, many different things. I think another thing that we can learn is that, you know, we can't let the enemy trick us. We can't let the enemy trick us out of our position. We can't let the enemy trick us out of what we feel is right in our heart. You know, we can't. A lot of times there are deceitful people out there and deceiving people out there that if we listen to them and if we believe their word to be true, it's going to hold us back. You know, it's going to set us back, and it's going to keep us from reaching our full potential. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what you're trying to accomplish out there. It doesn't matter if you're trying to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if you're at a 9-to-5 job. It doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home mom. It doesn't matter if you play sports. It doesn't matter at all. You will be able to look at any area of life and realize this relates to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably already have a gift inside of you. Well, not probably. You definitely already have a gift inside of you. You already have a talent inside of you. You already have some type of skill set inside of you. You already have something inside of you that's God-given that you can use right now in your life to create greatness out of, to create a legacy out of, you know, to create better future children, a better future and everything. You get what I'm saying? So, but my thing is, don't never compare your situation to somebody else's situation, because what's inside of somebody else may not be your calling. What God put in somebody else may not be for you, right? And there may be a reason for that. Maybe what's right for your path. I hope. All right, cool. I gotta get some sunlight here. It's kind of dark right here, so yeah. All right, cool. The sun is like directly above me. Yeah, so like I was saying, I gotta get some sunlight, right? Because I think it was a little dark, so I'm just standing up right now. But yeah, so, you know, God blesses people, different people with different talents and different gifts. And it's kind of like the same thing of what Adam and Eve did by not obeying God, by looking outside of themselves for some more power or for something that they're missing, when they're not realizing that they're not missing anything because they're created by God in God's image. So that's a prime example that you shouldn't go around life comparing your situation to other people's situation. You know, you shouldn't go around life comparing yourself to anybody else, because your only true competition is yourself. Because if everything comes from within, right? Everything comes from within, like with the Garden of Eden, everything was already there that they needed, that Adam and Eve needed. But the minute they looked outside of themselves, that's where the trouble started. So anything that you want to accomplish in your life, anything that you want to unlock in your life, is going to come from first you having a spiritual connection to yourself from the inside, right? From the inside out is where change is going to be created, right? And that's why I say things change first in the spiritual world, and then they change in the physical world. So if you want things to change in your physical world, if you want to manifest something, if there's something that you want to accomplish, you have to tap into the spiritual, right? You have to tap into the spiritual, because once the spiritual change is made, that means the change is made from the roots, just like the root of the tree of life, right? The change starts from the root, and then you're going to start to see change on the outside. You know what I'm saying? So that's the message for today. If you got value from this message, if it made you to think about things from a different perspective. But I just think it's so ironic, right? You know, I think it's ironic that even if in those days people, you know, didn't know exactly what they had. So I think this is a message about knowing what you have, being appreciative of it, because that's a story about gratitude. If you really think about it, the story about Adam and Eve is about gratitude. It's about being thankful. It's about being grateful for what you have. And that's another way to look at it. If you're grateful for everything that you have, even if you have a little bit, when you focus on what you have, you can create more from that little bit. You get what I'm saying? It's not about what you get, it's about what you do with what you get, right? And how you look at it. If you're always perceiving what you get, and when you get something, you're always looking at what you don't have, you're always focused on what you don't have, well, naturally, the universe has to continue to take away from you to justify your spiritual being or your mindset or your consciousness. So the way to have more in your life, the way to create more, is by focusing on what you have. Use what you have to create more, right? And then having that gratitude, being appreciative of what you have, will allow you to think and have ideas that will allow you to utilize what you have now to create more abundance, more life, more joy from that. I hope this is making sense. And if this is making sense, please let me know. The reason why I know this is because I've struggled for years and years as an entrepreneur, right? For the first few years, I struggled like crazy to make sales. I struggled like crazy to get my business going. And a lot of that was because, most of that was because of how I was spiritually, right? The reason for that was because of the way I was thinking. I was thinking like a victim instead of thinking like a person who's empowered, instead of thinking like a person who's gifted and talented. I was always focused on what I didn't have, what wasn't going right, what wasn't in the right place, in the right position. But I challenge you to change that. If you've been focusing on only the things that you don't have, if you've been focusing on only the things that hasn't been going right, I challenge you to change that today. Start to focus on the things that you do have, even if it's a little bit. Start to focus on the positive thing, even if you feel like the positive thing is such a simple thing, even if you feel like it's something so simple, even if it's somebody that, you know, randomly gave you a quarter today or something like that. Focus on that. Say, wow, I'm grateful for this quarter. I'm grateful for this, or this dollar that this person gave me. I'm grateful for that, because from this I could create more. And the more you focus on what you have, whether a lot or a little bit, you're going to always be able to create more. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's another message of the Garden of Eden that God wanted us to know, is that if you focus on what you have, you won't have to venture out. You won't have to exhaust your energy outside of yourself to end up in some type of trouble. You get, which is what he wanted Adam and Eve to do. He wanted Adam and Eve to obey his word and just focus on what was already within their Garden of Eden, and focus on the stuff that he did say that was in their realm of, you know, whatever they can eat at that time, you know, for spiritual reasons. So that story is more spiritual than it is literal, right? Whether it was an apple, a peach, a banana, we don't know what the forbidden fruit was exactly, but we know the main message now, right? And we could share this message, and we have a voice to let people know what this message was, and then we can apply it to different areas of our life. You know what I'm saying? So the main thing, like I said, is gratitude. Show your appreciation, and we got to come together and give back to the kingdom. We got to come together and speak the word of the kingdom with the world, you know. And I think as I do these videos, there's going to be some other things that I'm going to be launching in the future. Some things like some type of top secret clubs, right? Some top secret clubs that we're going to launch where only like the inner circle of the Voice of the Kingdom people will be a part of that group. And those will be some of the most enlightened people on the entire earth, right? In the entire planet. Because I do personally believe that wisdom starts from the spirit, and especially there's a lot of wisdom that can be gained from the Bible if you interpret certain things a certain way. Now it's fine if you believe in other things, if you believe in other religions, that's fine, right? Like I said, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a bishop, you know, I'm not, you know, a preacher, I'm not none of that stuff. I'm just a regular person figuring things out on my journey, going through my process just like you are in your life, right? But I think we can do things a lot more powerfully if we did it together, right? If we came together as one. When we're unified, we can create more, we can accomplish more, we can help more people. So what you're going to see is more people are going to be a part of the Voice of the Kingdom over the next few months, you know, to the next few years. And that's going to create a movement. And that movement is going to enlighten so many people in the world. And it's going to make the world a better place. Because as we change the hearts and the minds of people, the world becomes more righteous, the world becomes more positive, and we create a better future for the children. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's really all about. So if you got some good information from this video, if you enjoyed this video today, like I said, look out for more videos. I'm going to be dropping more videos like every day. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, right? I appreciate you if you subscribe to my channel. And check out the link in the description below, because if you check out the link in the description below, there will be a link to some type of content, whether it might be an ebook or a video where you can get some enlightened information. But just be careful. I do have a warning, right? That information that you're going to get access to if you click the link in the description of this video, be careful. As a side effect, you may gain some type of superpowers. Some weird things may start to happen in your life over the next few weeks to the next few months. And I just want you to be prepared for that, right? And when I say weird things, I don't mean weird things in a bad way. I mean it in a good way, in a way where you start to actually realize how enlightened you truly are becoming. But like I said, without any further ado, this is King Shatik. You can follow me on Instagram @_Shatik. That's @_SHATIQUE. I'm going to see you at the top. Peace.